Hello, my name is Matthew, and this is CA1 for networking for my course in DKIT. In this first video, I'll be looking at the CA web server. We'll be looking at the HTTP request, the load balance, the main app, the port server, and the web server. I'll be in the second video, I'll be looking at the CA client with the client thread, and we'll be looking at log file in that video as well as demonstrating the code to see if it's working. Okay, now we start with the main app. In the main app we have simple print out statement which will print out. We then create a new server from the web server class. We enter a try and catch statement. In the try part we call for a method called run in the web server, and we also print out a message here and catch. If the message, if they couldn't do this, then it should come out with this as an error. It would then print out this statement and then exit. Okay, now we're looking at the web server. In the web server we have a static int number, and which is used for the connection number, and then static boolean check, which is equal to false right now, which we use in the do while loop at the bottom here. We have the run method. With run method is a runnable interface. We start off by getting our port number, a port which we have as 1234. We got it from the get the port number from the command line. We establish a listening socket using server socket and using the port number that we just created. We then created a new port number and we started with 1240 and a string IP. We then execute service. We created an execute service which taking a fixed thread pool of 5. We then enter into a for loop, and as long as it's less than 5 it will keep doing this. We created a runnable SP which equals to the port server, which we'll see after this one, was taking an IP address and then the add new port plus I, and then we execute the runnable SP. We then enter a do while loop. This do while loop is a process HTTP service request. We start off by checking if the new port is equal to 1244. If it is, then we reset it back to 1240, and then we go add new port equal add new port, which probably did plus 1. We then created listening for the TCP connection request by using the socket connection and making it equal to the socket.accept. And we then print out some more information, and we increment the num, and then print out saying connection plus 1, connection plus 2, connection 2, connection 3 while it's looping. We then construct an object to process the HTTP request by creating load balance from the load balance class, with taking the socket connection and then the port number. We created a thread using the request from the load balance, and then we start the thread, and then we print out some more information, and then we have this if statement. If number is equal to 10, then check is true, and then as we've seen at the top, which is equal to 4, so while check is not true, then it should keep doing it until it hits here, and then it should exit and return back to the main app. Okay, now the port number, port server, sorry. It implement the runnable. It's taking a server socket, and then we have an inet address. The constructor port server taking a string IP and then the port, and then we have a created port equal to the port, and the run. We have the run entering our while loop while it's true, and then it's listening for a TCP connection request, and then it print out the port socket.get local port is listening, and then we create a socket connection which equal to socket.accept, which is in the try and catch loop. We then print a try and catch statement. We then output the information, and then we print the information, and then we output the information to a log file. We do the same to the iNet address, but we use the connection to get the iNet address, and then we get the host name and then the host address, and then we pretty much print that out, and then do the same by outputting it to a file. We constructed an object process using HTTP request. Request is equal to the socket connection. We created a new thread using request, and then we created a start thread. Else, if all that fails, it should go here and say exception have been caught. Okay, now we're looking at the load balance. So in load balance, we started off by implement the runnable. We created a socket and an int add port, and in the load balance it's taking a socket and add port. And run, we have it enter a try and catch statement. It tries to go into a method called process request. If that fails, then it should catch it. In the process request, we pretty much set up an input string filter. So we start out by going input stream equal to the socket.get input stream, then the output stream, and then print writer. Sorry about that. So we set that up, and then we get the request line of the HTTP request message, which read in from the buffer reader, which taken from the IS. We extract the file name from the request line by using the string tokenizer token. It will skip over the method which should be get, and then string file name is equal to token.next token, and then we have system.out incoming that tell the person that a new thread has started. Get timestamp, we'll see that at the bottom of this method. This here reply to the client and change the port to connect to, so it redirects the person to a new port called a new directory place called HTTP request, and then the port number plus the file name. And then we close all the socket and the OS, and then the data output stream, the socket, and then the buffer reader. The get timestamp here, as I've seen here, is used to get the date and then the time, which I used to say thread started at such and such date at this time, and then we output that to a file as well. Okay, now we're moving on to HTTP request. In HTTP request, we implement runnable. We create a socket. We build a constructor with taking socket. In the run method, we again set up an input string filter, and we enter a try and catch statement. We get the, so here we do the same thing up here. We get the request line using br.readline, and then extract the file again from the request line. We prepend a dot so that the file request is within the current directory. We then implement the file input stream, and then check if file assisted by using files is equal true. We another try and catch, it taking the file name, else it check if they don't do that, then file is equal to false, so the file is not there. Then we print out the request line, header, and then we log in the header. We then have string status line, string content line, and string entity body. These here are used to get information for the client, which we'll see in the second part of this video, second part. So check if the file exists. If not, then it should do status line equal to this, and then content type line is equal to this plus the file name plus CRLF, which is up at the top with /r/n. Okay, then we write them out to a byte, status content, and then write byte. We send the entity body, so we check if the file exists. We another try and catch, so file input stream and then the data output stream, send it out. If not, then exception, and then we close the file input stream, else we have it writing out the entity body. We close the output stream, the buffer reader, and then the socket close. Then we close the socket. We have a catch here to check the exception. We have another try and catch, and this try is going to make the thread sleep for a while, and then another method to do exception, and then get complete time of completion. This is used to, again, as we saw before, we get like the timestamp. I print it out in here, and then we log it out to a file, and the space file is used to put spaces between them. Okay, I think I seem to have enough time for log files, so I'll go through that now. Okay, in the log file, we created a file with the position where we want the text file to be, and then we have a file writer which will write the file, write to the file. In write file, we take in the string info, it go into a try and catch statement, and try and create a new file writer with the directory and make it equal to true. Else it will cause an exception and then send an error. Then we have another we enter into another try and catch statement where it check if the file exists. If it does exist, then it will. If it does not exist, it will create a new file. Else it will write the info to the file and then make a space. You then flush the file writer. The cache spot is section, and it come up with an error if it's wrong. Base file, we enter into it pretty much the same. We have the file writer equal to the same thing, except that is instead of going to see if the file exists, we already know that the file exists, so all I have to do is output and write to the thing. So we write out to string.format thing, which should be causing 2 spaces, and then exception if it's wrong, and that is pretty much my code. In part 2 I will go through CA client with the client and client thread, and then I'll be demonstrating my code. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.